Father's Day is commemorated in most parts of the world on the third Sunday of June. Sadly, however, there are those who grew up without their fathers and resent them. So how does one heal from that? And what happens if one does not forgive and heal? To find out, we're now joined via Zoom by the author of Unfathered and Life Coach at the University of Cape Town, Dr. Disa Mogashana. Dr. Mogashana, very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to The Globe.
Thank you, Simpiwe. Good evening to you and good evening to all the viewers at home.
Okay, let's start by taking a look at the importance of a father in a girl child's life.
Simpiwe, if you give me a moment, may I just start by wishing all the fathers a very happy Father's Day out there, and especially to my father. Just want to wish him a very special happy Father's Day today. And yeah, I'm very glad that he knows that I care very deeply about him, and I know that he cares about me too. So yes, we can continue from there, Simpiwe.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about, you've just mentioned that you're just paying tribute to your father, and that is the sweetest message I've ever heard all day, and thank you so much. And I'm sure that he's watching, and he's beaming as he's watching this right now. And let's talk about the importance of, a girl father and, a child and a father relationship, especially a girl child. So how would you rate that kind of relationship?
Simpiwe, the father-daughter relationship is a very special relationship. I think more so, I think in the last two generations of the 20th century and the newer generations, we need our fathers more. The girl child needs their fathers more. The father is that man. Ideally, he's the first man in your life. He's the one who gives you a sense of love, who teaches you about how you can be loved and how you should receive love. It gives you the confidence and so that you are not insecure. And as a result, if you do not have that love from him, that stability from him, you end up settling for breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
So it's a very important relationship. That it's our first relationship with the opposite sex, and if we don't have that and we don't heal from that pain, then it does gives a whole lot of complexities later in lives in our relationship. So it's very important that that relationship heals.
Yeah, you're quite right there. That father-daughter relationship is a very profound one, because a girl sees a father as a symbol of protection, as a symbol of strength, and as a hero. A girl sees a father as a hero who can protect her from whatever ill that she may be faced with wherever she goes.
And love her.
Yeah, indeed. So, but then there are those girls who grew up without a father and who saw their mothers as a father figure and their uncles and, the grandfathers as the father figure, and they sort of developed that resentment towards their father. And unfortunately, in some circumstances, that particular father has been denied access to their children, and, they've been denied of their right to see their children and be a part of their lives. So, in a way, it becomes unfair because the daughter now resents the father as a result of that. So how does a daughter or a girl child heal from that resentment?
Simpiwe, healing is a journey. It's a very complex journey. I think for me, I'm talking from a place of privilege because I'm talking as someone who has undergone that journey. It's not an easy journey. I think, let me just put my engineer hat for a moment to perhaps to talk to how healing happens. So I think, the Bible and many other spiritual texts tell us that we are the light in the world. So if you imagine yourself as a person who's hurting, if you imagine yourself as a light bulb, a dim, let's say a 40-watt light bulb, but you were created with the brightness of a 100-watt light bulb. If you don't heal, it's like you are operating as a dim light bulb. So the importance of healing, not only in the girl child's life, but in us as a whole, is to understand who we are as the light, and that if we don't heal, then we don't get to fully experience who we are and how we are created to be. So the importance of healing is so that we lighten up, So if you imagine healing as a way of releasing the negative emotions, and whenever you express and you release those emotions, you become brighter and brighter and brighter. So the purpose of healing is so that we can become the light we were created to be.
And am I correct to suggest that the healing process need not only involve the daughter, but the mother of the daughter as well, in cases where the parents were divorced or they are going through separation? Because in some instances, the mother prevents the child from seeing the father or vice versa as a result of their own personal problems. So I suppose then that the mother should heal and move on and not prevent the daughter from seeing her father, or the father from seeing his daughter.
Yes, I think both have, all of them, in fact, everyone in that relationship, whether it's the mother, is the child, is the father, each one of them are on their own journey to healing. Mm-hmm. And ideally, each one of them should not influence the path that the other one takes towards healing. And you're right. In many instances, mothers are the ones who put a stop to the journeys. What they are not aware of is that they then do damage to the children, and that those children continue to ask themselves, what did they do wrong? Why is the father not there? Or what has happened? So mothers are very influential in this case, and they should also undergo their own healing. I've watched my mother go through her own healing journey, and it's been beautiful to watch her understand why I needed my father, or why I needed to pen my story. So yes, I encourage mothers to let their children be who they are, who they were created to be, and give them information. Don't hide the information from your children. You're not protecting your children by withholding information about their father from them. In fact, you're doing more damage. One day they will look back and they will blame you for having withheld that information. So yes, mothers need to undergo their own journeys and allow their children to go through their own, as the fathers themselves as well. They also go through their own journeys to healing. So it's a whole different journeys that each one of them have to travel. They should just give each other space to do that.
Yeah, I quite take your point there that everybody involved, should be involved in the process of healing. But then there are those fathers who, for some reason, decide not to be present, voluntarily decide not to be present in their children's lives. So how do children then deal with the disappointment of having to reach out to their father and being rejected?
And rejected over and over and over again. You can imagine if you show up, I'm your child, and the child, in some cases, is a lot of, especially in these cases where fathers are absent, the child shows up and he looks just like the father, and the father says, "You're not my child." That is a very painful experience. Of course, I don't know that experience personally, but I know a lot of people who go through that experience of the father completely rejecting them. It's a very painful thing. I think this is where the child, nothing can actually protect you from that pain at the time. But remembering who we are, Simpiwe, the important thing is to remember who we are, and that we are here for a purpose. And some of these experiences that we go through are shaping us. Some of our pains shape us in a very profound way in who we are becoming. So it's very important for the child then to focus on their own journey, to focus on themselves, to focus on their own healing, it's like a wound. If a father just rejects you outright, it's like the wound is there and then he just puts salt in it, making it even more painful. But yes, I encourage children like that to focus on themselves, to focus on their own emotional journey, and to find healing. It's not going to be easy. I can say it's not an easy journey. Healing is not an easy journey, but it can be done as long as you understand that you are the light, you belong here, you are not a mistake. There's a reason why you are alive at this point in time. That in the bigger scheme of things, you are here to serve your purpose, whatever that may be and whatever shape it may take.
You know, Dr. Mogashana, there's something so heartwarming about seeing your child smiling at you at the sight of seeing you. Earlier on, I was in conversation with another guest, Mr. Bongani Luvalo, about, some of the fathers who've been deprived an opportunity of seeing their child. So in the process of healing, would you perhaps say that if a father has been denied an opportunity to be a part of his child's life and then does, or rather undertakes illegal means of seeing that particular child by, for instance, going into, her school or his or her school, or going into the mall and seeing his child, just so that he heals, just so that, he could see his child smiling back at him?
Sorry, Superior, I wasn't clear on the question. Are you saying? Okay, can you just say that again? I think you were unclear on that one.
For purposes of healing, in instances where a father has been denied an opportunity of seeing his son or his daughter, do you think that fathers in that particular instance should undertake illegal means, as it were, of seeing their own children behind the mother's back, for instance, by going to their school, maybe after school, or going to the mall just to see their own children?
The illegal means, simply, I wouldn't encourage that, but I do understand the pain. I remember at one point, one day, I was dropping my kids at school, and in the parking lot, there was this mother who was screaming at the father. I think the father showed up for the same reason. I think the mother was denying the father access to his children. So the father came to school. I think he knew around the time when the mother's going to drop off the kids. So in the parking bay, these parents are just screaming, and you can hear the mother is swearing at the father. And I really don't think we should get to such extremes. I really want to appeal to mothers. Mothers, you are not doing justice to your children by denying them access to their father. They are not part of the reasons, they are not part of the complex reasons why you and the father are not together. Mm-hmm. And you are doing them a disservice. Don't put fathers in situations where they have to go for illegal means to see their children. You are breaking people's hearts. You are breaking the nation's heart. You are contributing to the challenges that we are seeing and experiencing in our society. So I wouldn't advise or encourage the illegal means. I would just appeal to the mothers to open their hearts to the fathers. Let the child not be mixed up in the reasons why you and the father are not together.
Right.
Allow that to blossom.
And then just briefly, we're out of time, unfortunately, Dr. Mogashana. The financial responsibilities and the financial obligations on the part of the father, should it be a condition for seeing and be a part of their children's lives?
I don't believe so. I mean, people may have different opinions. I don't believe so. I think even the thugs and the drug dealers can be all those things, and not, but they can still provide they can still provide the love, the emotional. Children need the emotional love from their fathers as much as the finances are important. In the cases when the father is unable to, that shouldn't be the reason why they are denied access to their children. That's my view.
All right, Dr. Mogashana, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Mpiwe.
Okay, thank you. That was author of Unfathered and Life Coach at the University of Cape Town, Dr. Disa Mogashana, talking to us about the importance of healing and forgiving an absent father. Well, she wrote a book, Unfathered, detailing her journey seeking closure and healing.